Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video a wee bit different. We're going to do a wee listicle ahead of our League Cup game against Rovers on Thursday night. The quarter-final, of course. A game where we take on some championship opposition. And now, it's always important never to sleep on this opposition. It's never a case of a done deal and we're going to win because they're in a league below. No, we can't think like that. It's still going to be a tough game, but it is a massive opportunity for some players to maybe be given a shot to prove themselves in this new look Celtic side. Of course, we've been struggling as of late. We've lost at the weekend to Livingston. We lost last week to Betis. We really do need to pick ourselves up and win. But I feel like it is a massive opportunity for some younger guys to maybe come into the squad and give us something to shout about on Thursday. So let's talk about that. Before we go any further up with the video, please make sure to check out the top line of the description. If you want to download the OneFootball app, then please make sure to use my link, which is there. It'll give you everything you need to know ahead of the quarterfinals in the Betfred Cup and the further rounds to see who will be playing who and all the rest of it. You know, all that good stuff. Check out the players I'm going to talk about, their stats, their season, everything all in the one place, all across world football. Using my link helps both me and the channel sponsor. So as I've already mentioned, Celtic take on Rovers on Thursday night in the quarter-final of the Premier Sports Cup, a competition in which I would love to see Celtic go and win this season, get back to winning cups, but like, you know, Rovers are a team we can't sleep on. Ultimately, I'm not going to say full rotation, let's play the B team. That's not it. At the end of the day, we're still got to give them the respect of a team who we want to come to Celtic Park and make something memorable of it. We've got to give them respect as one of the sides who were a top team in the Championship last season. If you remember rightly, John McGlynn's side done very, very well, and they were very close to challenging for that Premiership spot in the playoffs when they were there with Dundee at the end. Dundee, of course, ended up coming up, but Rovers exceeded a lot of people's expectations last year, and they're certainly a side that with a little bit of confidence could provide a bit of a sting in the tail. Yes, Celtic should be walking all over them, let's be honest. I know I just said let's give them the respect, but ultimately we should be walking all over them with the quality we've got, the advantage we've got in the terms of that. It's a game Celtic shouldn't really struggle in. You'd expect us to score a good few with our home form this season, but it's also a big opportunity to bring in some guys to start the game that regularly usually don't start the games of football. So here's 5 players I'd like to see start on Thursday night ahead of the game against Rovers. Well, let's go and look through them now. Number 1, Liam Scales, a player who has came into Celtic obviously over the past transfer window from Shamrock Rovers. He's been on the bench a couple of times now, got to see him warm up around the side against Livingston on Sunday, but he's yet to make an appearance for Celtic, and I think this could be a decent time for him, whether or not he plays at left back and he plays at centre back. I think Liam Scales should be given a chance on Thursday night. If he's not given a chance now, I don't know when it'll be the suitable sort of debut. We've got a really tough run of games coming up after that, especially when you look at the away games. You've got Motherwell, Hibs, Aberdeen. You've got Europa League games. You know, it's a really tough run of games we've got from here on out, and I don't know if maybe the confidence will drain a little bit from the manager and to pick him and when we've got such big games to play. So, yeah, I think for Thursday night could be a great opportunity for him. I wouldn't mind seeing him play at left or centre-back. I think preferably I'd like to see him play in the position he was brought up in the centre-half. Maybe joins alongside the likes of Stephen Welsh or Cameron Carter-Vickers. Whoever gets dropped, I don't know, but I'd like to see Scales come in, promising young talent. We've got to nurture that talent. And Rovers a good game, I think, to kind of find his footing. You know, you think about it, he'll get a lot of the ball in terms of passing out from the back and holding on to the ball at the back. He'll get a lot of it. That'll bring him a lot more confidence. And ultimately Rovers shouldn't be able to break us down too much, so I think you're looking at a very minimal amount of chances you'd be conceding as a defender, and all these things coming together does a world of good for a player's confidence. Second player, Liam Shaw. I'd love to see Liam Shaw come into the team. This is a player who I thought in pre-season looked very, very impressive. I remember sitting doing the watch along with Ryan McGinley for, I believe it was the Sheffield Wednesday game, the club we signed him from. I believe I got to see a bit more of him against maybe Charlton it was, and in both games I thought he looked really, really good, and with the kind of showing that he gave, I expected him to be in and around the first team for this season, but he's only been involved I think once on the bench against Hearts and the Cup, the previous round of the Cup. And apart from that, we haven't really seen him, but he's been very impressive for the B team. He's been strolling it in there, as you'd expect a player of significant quality, I say significant quality, of quality to do. I think that he has got quality that we can bring into this first team, and it offers something a little bit different in an area where we are rather thin on the ground. You look at McCarthy, who didn't look too comfortable on Sunday, Sorrow, who's been a bit frantic. I think now's a good chance to bring someone like Liam Shaw in, see how measured he is in comparison to the other two guys, and see what he brings to the table. Also, physically, I feel like he offers a bit of a presence on the park that we're missing in the middle. A bigger guy, really tall, quite wide as well. You know, he's a big guy. He gets in and around, uses his body well. Against Rafe Rovers, he could really do a job at separating the plays and such. I want to see him in the team. I was choking to see him in the team after pre-season. I think now's a good time to get him in there. Georgios Samaras. We really need to see this guy soon. I'm forgetting that we actually signed him. We spent a decent fee on him. I think we're talking £3.5 million. A guy who was top scorer in the Dutch Eredivisie last season. And we've yet to see him play for Celtic due to fitness issues and being ready, ultimately. When you sign a striker and your star striker gets injured in Kyogo, you're hoping that one's ready to stand up and walk into the team and take the limelight, but we've not been able to see that. We've not seen any of them at all, and Anne just touched on that. We were hoping we'd maybe get a glimpse of him on Sunday, but he wasn't on the bench. Apparently, it was said, Anne said apparently if he wasn't ready for Sunday, he'd be ready for Thursday. Now, I'm not sure if he'll get a start in the game. Ayeti, at the end of the day, has scored a couple in his past few games, so maybe he doesn't start, but we need to really see a glimpse of Giakoumakis. And what's also important is getting to understand the player and what he's like. On Sunday, I thought Celtic were struggling in bringing Ayeti into the game because we didn't know really what to do, and I think Ayeti has to take a share of the blame for that, of course. I'm not saying he's completely innocent, but he felt vacant in the game. He felt anonymous, but there was just nothing there because we weren't playing a football that got him involved. Now, Giakoumakis looks like a very different player from the likes of Kyogo and even Ayeti. So I think that you've got to learn how to work around these guys, how they fit into the system, what's best to play with them. So I'd like to see him coming to the team for that reason. A good chance for him to get off the mark as well against Rafe Rovers. Send the ball in, get his head on the end of it, and who knows, maybe you've got one or two big Georges here. I would like to see him in the team if possible. I'm not expecting him to start, but if the opportunity allows us to, I'd have him in the starting 11 probably. Number 4, Adam Montgomery. I want him back in the team. I've been kind of quiet on Montgomery. I've not been critical of him, yet I've not been sort of astounded by him. I think he's just been very fine. Nothing too much to shout about, but you know, for such a young age, he's doing a lot of things right, and I feel every time he has been given a chance on the pitch for Celtic, he has delivered what's expected. And maybe even a little bit better than what's expected. Now, I'm not going to get carried away. As I said, I've not been astounded. I'm not going to come out and give claims that he's the next big thing or he's the answer to Kieran Tierney or anyone else. Ultimately, there's a long, long way to go before you have those conversations, but he's someone who has quietly impressed me when he has been on the park, and I want to see more of him. Montgomery is someone who I thought would have got on the park on Sunday when we were struggling. He never did, and I was wondering why not. I think he'd done a great job when he came on the park at Ibrox. I thought he'd done a solid enough job against Betis playing in the wing as well. And you've got to remember, this is a young guy who's been made to play two completely different positions, both on the left-hand side, of course, but brought up as a left winger, now asked him to play left back. He's chopped and changed. They played left wing against Betis, obviously. So you're looking at someone who is at a young age being asked to be versatile and being asked to step up and offer so much to this Celtic team, and he doesn't seem too fazed by it. He seems like he's enjoying the opportunity, he's thriving under it, and he's ready to take it. I like the look of him. I think he looks tidy as a player. I feel like he's very sort of calm in situations where a lot of younger players wouldn't be. And I would love to see him back in the team for an occasion or two over the next few games. I think he deserves it. He's not done anything particularly wrong. I couldn't give a situation where I think he's drastically put a foot wrong. You know, he obviously has those couple of wee errors here and there for being a guy, 19 years old. It's natural, perfectly natural for that to happen. But for me, Montgomery is someone who we should be nurturing, we should be looking at as bringing into the first team as a regular over the next few years. So give him these opportunities against the likes of Rafe Rovers. Let him show us what he can do, whether it be on the wing or whether it be at left back. The thing we need to do with Montgomery is we need to figure out that plan, that path as to what he is going to be. Are we going to make him a left back? Are we going to use him as the winger that he was brought up in the youth team as? We need to figure that out, and that's why these games against Rafe can be big for someone like Montgomery. Montgomery, and it's why I'd like to see him back in the team. And finally, a sort of unknown name, a guy that you might not have heard a lot about, Callum McGregor. I'd like to get McGregor back in the team on Thursday night if fitness allows it. Now, a lot of people might be saying, and I can understand already, the sort of divide there maybe be in fans for starting McGregor on Thursday. Raith Rovers isn't a game where he must start. People will be saying, save his fitness, don't rush him back. If the injury isn't as bad as what it's sounding, get him back in the team, in my opinion. We have missed Callum McGregor dearly, and I know it's Raith Rovers, and I know people might want to overlook them and say we'll win easily anyway, but we need his inspiration in the team. We need his sort of leadership. We need his characteristics as a player, both technically and personality-wise. He's so important for Celtic, and the absence of McGregor in the past 2 games has been huge. It's honestly night and day without him in that team. I would get him back in if he's willing to play. If he feels ready to play, Ange feels like he's ready to play, and that everything's been assessed accordingly, get McGregor back in the team. Because you've got to remember as well, McGregor's now the captain of the club, and we've been used to a captain who played every single game, and Scott Brown before that, and all these games as well. But also, what's more important, not just that, I don't really care about that as much. What is important is that the players get to know their captain gets to know his team. I feel like we should be taking every opportunity with that if he's ready to go. Of course, I don't want to burn McGregor out too much, and if he's not ready, then don't put him back in the team. But if circumstances allow it, get McGregor back on the pitch on Thursday night. That'll do me then, I think. Yes, that's the 5 players I'd like to see in the starting 11 on Thursday, if possible. If not in the starting 11, at least involved with the matchday squad. I'd love to see these guys get in the park. Liam Scales, Liam Shaw, Yakimakis, Adam Montgomery, Callum McGregor. These are all guys I feel can offer us a little bit of something in a game which could be a dull affair on an empty Thursday night, but we can make it an entertaining one with the right spice. Yes, spice. That's the word I used there. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Let me know who you want to see on Thursday if there's anyone that I've missed out. And I'll see you all next time.